Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I know I say this all the time, but I mean it. I might really have to make this into a full project. I had so much fun with this Tunisian stitch and I really fell in love with it. And I think this would make a gorgeous cowl. And I learned a lot of lessons along the way and I'd love to teach them to you. So today I have two balls of worsted weight yarn. One is Paint Box Yarn Simply Aran. I think this is like a fuchsia color. I don't know the name of the color. And then this is Willow Daily Yarns. And I can't remember who makes this. 100% superwash in Vineyard color 42. Okay, so they're both worsted weight yarns. While this one is superwash wool. Yep, 100% superwash wool, and this one is acrylic. I don't necessarily agree or think it's a good idea to mix two different fibers in the same project, but I was really going for color. So what was happening is I made a Tunisian stitch for you, and then I thought, oh my gosh, let's do some color work with it. And then I was thinking, oh, well, let's mix a solid color yarn and a coordinating multicolor. So I picked the multicolor, I found a coordinating solid, and you can't even see it. It like totally disappeared. So we've got this multicolored fabric, and then I was doing this vertical work in the solid blue or indigo or whatever color you want to call it, and it just totally disappeared. So I thought, hey, let's change it up. So the lesson I learned is that the two colors don't necessarily have to go together. Like I never would have picked these two colors together for one project until I thought, well, let's just see if that blue, purple, sky color will pop on here. And it turns out I absolutely love it. And it's not something I ever would have planned. But so when you step back and you look at the two yarns together, and I did not end up using this one at all, the solid. When I look at these colors together, these colors in this ball, this multicolor ball, and this fuchsia color, like, could they go together? Technically, yeah, they probably could. Like if there was a little bit of this color mixed in with this ball, it probably would not look shockingly wrong. Even though next to each other, they look kind of wrong to my eye. But I learned that they actually are good friends. And so let me show you this project. So we're using two hooks today. I have a 7mm hook, Tunisian hook, which I think is about probably an L, a little bit bigger than a K. And I have a K size hook, which is a 6.5mm. Okay, we're going to start with the fuchsia, which is the background color, and then we're going to slip stitch, and I will show you how to add the multicolor to it. All right, so for this pattern, I am placing a slip knot on the hook, taking my larger hook, my Tunisian hook, placing it on the hook, and I'm going to chain 19. That's the size of this swatch. So 19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 18. Oh my goodness, I lost track because I started thinking about other things. That's how distracted I get. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So let me back up one. Okay, so we have 19 loops or 19 chains. This is a typical Tunisian crochet foundation. So I am going to pull up a loop in the back bar, back ridge, back loop, whatever you want to call it, the scales down the dragon's back all the way. So yarning over, inserting the hook, pulling up a loop, and going to the next one, leaving the loop on the hook each time. I'm so excited. I think this is going to be a really fun, kind of mindless project for me, and I need one of those right now. So this is going to be it. And I hope I get to actually complete this project because, I believe that crochet is a relaxing and valuable use of our time. And it's a great way to pass the time and end up with a project that is useful, functional, beautiful, giveable, and something to be proud of. Okay, so we are finishing up. We will have 19 loops on the hook when we are done. We'll have one loop for each chain all the way across. So we will have a total of 19. If you need to check your stitches, go ahead and count them by counting the loops: 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and one more makes 19. Okay, so if you need an extreme beginner Tunisian tutorial, I have one on my channel, so go ahead and check it out. So we're making this foundation, and all the return rows are going to be the same. Yarn over and pull through 1. Okay, then yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and you'll continue to yarn over and pull through 2 all the way across until you only have one loop left on the hook. This is the traditional return pass for Tunisian crochet. Nothing new here, but this next row is where the fun begins. So oftentimes in Tunisian crochet, this beginning row, this first row, does not even count as a row, and they call it a foundation row. So read your pattern carefully to see what the pattern is. I have not written this pattern out yet, but I think you can follow it just with the tutorial. Okay, so what we're going to do, the loop on the hook counts as this stitch here that I am tapping. Okay, so we do not need to do anything with this stitch. This stitch is the new one for the next round or the next row. I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to skip the stitch where I'm tapping. This next stitch, I will do a Tunisian knit. So splitting the front and back bar, stabbing from the front to the back, go all the way through the fabric, yarn over and pull up a loop. It splits those two bars a little bit and creates a knit stitch looking stitch when we are getting a few more rows through. So yarn over, skip one stitch, Tunisian knit in the next. Yarn over, skip one vertical bar, one stitch, Tunisian knit in the next one. We're doing this all the way across. Okay, and this is essentially the fabric, but I want to show you the next row as well so that you know how to complete the body of your scarf or cowl or whatever. I think it's going to make a really gorgeous cowl. It would also make a really beautiful headband. Okay, so as we're getting close to the end here and we have only 2 stitches left, we're going to yarn over and then insert our hook through the last 2 bars of that last stitch, like that. Okay, so as you may guess, you can adjust the number of stitches for this pattern to make your item wider or narrower by using an odd number of stitches, and any odd number of stitches will do. Okay, so however you want to, if you can want to make it into a blanket, you can. And so as many stitches as you want, just make sure that it is an odd number. Okay, so we will go ahead and do the continued traditional return pass with a yarn over and pull through 1, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, and continue with that yarn over and pull through 2 loops on the hook all the way across until 1 loop remains. Okay, so this is our first pattern row. It is our second row overall, but sometimes the first one is counted as a foundation row. So this is the first pattern row. We have now completed 2 rows. And you can see 2 chains running up the side, row 1 and row 2. So the chains along the side help you count your rows if you decide you need to do that. Okay, so this is the next row, and it is the row that you will repeat for the entire fabric of the red kind of fuchsia. We are yarning over. The yarn over from the previous row is right here where I am tapping. We're skipping that. Keep that yarn over on your hook. Tunisian knit stitch, stabbing through and separating the front and back bar of that next vertical. Okay, yarn over, nothing to do here. There's the yarn over from the previous row. We're going to skip it. We're going to stab through and Tunisian knit stitch through the next. So this is what is happening all the way across this row and all of the subsequent rows for the total height of your project. So you get to decide how many of these rows you would like to make. But this is the same row that you will repeat over and over and over again. And that is why it is going to be a beautifully meditative and calming project. All right. I especially love the return pass because there's no thinking involved. Yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. It's a very rhythmic and fun and easy and meditative and relaxing method. Okay, so as we get this last few stitches return passed off or bound off, and they're not actually bound off, they're just, we're still in process, and I'll show you the bind off at the top of the project. I want to point out some things. So we'll do that row over and over and over again. As the project gets bigger, it's going to shift a little bit. Can you see the slight lean toward the beginning of the rows? It's kind of turned into a, what is that word, friends? Is that a rhombus? I think it's a rhombus. It's at a slight tilt, okay? But when I learned with this swatch, once I added the verticals, it became a lot more square, a lot more rectangular or squared off, I should say. It felt like the lean was minimized once I put the verticals in. And there's absolutely no curling in this project at all, which I know if you're doing Tunisian crochet, you probably hate curling. And I get it, so do I. So let's bind off this part, and then we will add the accent color, because I did the accent color after I bound off. So on this swatch, I went ahead and just put a locking stitch marker on my last loop so that it would not pull out while I was doing the other swatch. Put my Tunisian hook back in, and then to finish off this swatch, to bind off that final row, when I finally get to the end of my project and I want to be done, I'm going to leave this loop on the hook. In the space underneath the yarn over, I'm going to single crochet. Okay, then I'm going to insert my hook as if to Tunisian knit stitch, pull up a loop, and yarn over and pull through 2 loops on the hook. So that's single crocheting through the stitch as if to knit stitch. Got it? So insert your hook as if to knit stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, but now yarn over and pull through 2. So we're binding off and finishing off all of these stitches so that they are not hanging anymore, and we get a finished edge. So in the gap underneath the yarn over, we're just single crocheting. And then the next stitch, which is the Tunisian knit, we're stabbing through as if to Tunisian knit and finishing off in the way of a single crochet. You can also do this process with a traditional hook instead of a Tunisian hook, because you're not loading up the hook with lots and lots of live loops, okay? And I messed up a little bit, so I'll just pull it out and start again. Find the Tunisian knit stitch and single crochet through it, okay? And when you get all the way to the edge and my little extra part here got all tangled, then we will just finish off the way you would do any crochet project. 2 more stitches, and through that last stitch, single crochet, and then we would cut the yarn and fit the cut tail through the hole where the loop, and through the loop where the hook had been, and gently tug. Okay, so that is what the bind off, it's just a single crochet bind off, but we're placing a single crochet underneath the yarn over, and then we're single crocheting in the Tunisian knit stitches in the same manner that we would Tunisian knit. Okay, you got it? Okay, so fun, so much fun. So you could do your entire project without the accent color, and here's a glimpse of what it will look like on the front and a glimpse of what it will look like on the back. But to add this pop of color, which is seriously the part that I love the most, after you have completed your entire body in the main color, You will cut that yarn and set it aside. You're done with it now. Thank you. And we will pull whatever accent color you would like to do. So the accent color, we are going to surface slip stitch into this column of Tunisian knits. So we're working these regular traditional slip stitches, surface slip stitches, kind of nestled in the little gaps. So I'm going to take a traditional hook and show you. So we're going to insert our hook here underneath where the 2 feet of the Tunisian knit start. And then you can see the darkest spots where all of the threads come together here, 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 okay? That, like, if these are little hearts, that's where the little legs come together in the V. That's where we're going to stab our hook each time. There will be 1 stitch for every row. Okay, so let's do that. I'm taking my smaller hook, and this happens to be a little bit of a smaller yarn. I didn't mean to do that. I did mix brands, but it is also worsted weight, but it does feel a little smaller, unfortunately. So place a slip knot on your hook. That's not, however, why I chose a younger hook, less grown, smaller. I chose the smaller hook just because I didn't want too much excess looseness on those stitches. So I've got my slip knot. I'm not putting it on the hook yet. I'm going to hold the knot behind the fabric. I'm going to find the spot at the beginning, row 1 of Tunisian, and place my hook through it, stabbing straight back through in those spots that I indicated. Then I'm going to put the knot on my hook, tension it carefully. I'm going to hold it on the back side of the fabric and pull the loop through to the front. So I'm still pinching that tail there to hold it in place. I want to be careful of my gauge here. It's pretty easy to let these surface slip stitches get a little wild. So try not to let your loops get too big in between stitches. Now I'm going to stab in that spot. I'm going to flip it over so you can see I'm grabbing the yarn on the wrong side and pulling I dropped it. Pulling that yarn through to the front, taking care not to snag the yarn. And I think in my effort to show you the back, I'm kind of dropping it. There we go. So, and then just gently pull the right tension and then do it again. Stab in the next spot, yarn over and pull up the loop. Stab in the next spot, yarn over and pull up a loop. So let me try to show you the back without messing up too hard. So I'm going to stab into the next spot. I'm kind of straddling or going in between those V's of the Tunisian knit, stabbing the hook through. Then I am grabbing the yarn on the back side and pulling it through to the front and through the loop that is there. So this is hard to describe, but hopefully you're understanding that I'm just slip stitching through the fabric. The yarn is held on the back side. The loops are happening on the front, and it's as if my dominant hand is a sewing machine foot, and the pink is a fabric, and the multicolored yarn is the thread. Okay, once you get all the way to the top, abandon your loop, pull your hook out. Don't pull on the back yet, but you've got your back yarn here that's still attached to the ball. I am going to take my scissors and cut the tail that is attached to the ball. I am going to take my hook on the wrong side of the fabric, thread it from the back, grab that last loop, pull it to the back, and let that tail come through the loop and just gently pull snug, but not too snug, because I don't want it to disappear. Then I did have a couple loosey-goosey moments. Is that an old-fashioned word? Loose moments there. And so if you just gently massage it a little bit, they all will kind of even out a little bit, and you end up with this gorgeously little adorned fabric jewelry almost on the surface of your sweater or your garment or your cowl. And this is what the back looks like. So yeah, there's a lot of ends to weave in, but it's okay. Like I might do an edging of the multi, and then that'll be easier to hide the edges. But I really like the fuchsia being dominant. So I hope that you have loved this project as much as I have. Please like and subscribe. Hit the thumbs up button if you don't mind. And I will see you on the next video. Please catch me in the mornings on the 5-Minute Crochet Podcast here on YouTube, most weekday mornings. So have a great day. Bye.